Hi everyone, it's Bea. Today's video is going to be pretty different from all of my other videos, but I think it's super important that I share this info while I have the chance to. I'm sure if you have at any point looked into buying a physical copy of basically any retro survival horror game that isn't Resident Evil, you've probably noticed how ridiculously high the prices are for these kinds of games on sites like eBay, and if you're not big into emulating games, you're kind of out of luck if you want to experience any of these great survival horror games unless you're willing to break the bank, since physical copies of survival horror games often sell for double, triple, or even more compared to the cost of a modern AAA game. In today's video, I want to share with you guys how you can access a pretty big collection of these awesome retro survival horror games for much cheaper than it would cost to obtain a physical copy and without having to use an emulator, so you can still experience these games without having to pay a crazy amount of money to do so. So, first things first, what you're going to need to do is go find your old PS3 that's probably been collecting dust in a closet or basement for the past few years, and we can get started. At the time that I'm recording this video, it is May 2023, and the PS3 store still works. Kinda. And it is an absolute treasure trove for survival horror enthusiasts, especially if you've been having trouble finding reasonably priced ways to play some of the most famous survival horror titles. Currently, the PS3 store has the following games available for download, which, as far as I know, aren't available to download on any other platform, and as I'm listing them, I'm going to put the price listed on the PS3 store on the screen and the cost of a physical copy of each game on the screen so you can see the comparison. Fatal Frame 1, 2, and 3, Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill Origins, and Silent Hill Book of Memories, Resident Evil 1 Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and Resident Evil Code Veronica, Siren as well as Siren Blood Curse, Parasite Eve 1 and 2, Dino Crisis 1 and 2, Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare, and even though this isn't a survival horror game, I still wanted to mention it because it's still horror. If you own a copy of Alice the Madness Returns for the PS3, you can download the entirety of American McGee's Alice, which is the predecessor to Alice the Madness Returns, for free as an add-on, which I thought was pretty cool. Also, if you have a PSP, there are quite a few games, usually the ones that say PS1 Classics after them, which after being purchased on a PS3 can be copied onto your PSP by plugging your PSP into your PS3 using a mini USB cable, which is the same kind of cable that's used to charge a PS3 controller. So, for the games which show PS3/PSP for the available platform, you essentially get two copies of the game, one for playing on the TV and one for playing on the go in case you feel like laying in bed at night with all the lights turned off and playing Silent Hill on a tiny screen inches away from your face so you can scare yourself half to death before you go to sleep. I'd also like to include a few troubleshooting things since, for some reason, they've decided to make it extra annoying and difficult to use the PlayStation 3 store recently, and I want to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to experience these games while they have the chance to, since retro survival horror games are becoming more and more difficult to get your hands on, as prices of physical copies keep going up and digital storefronts like Steam don't have these games. So for one, when you go to log into your PSN account on your old PS3, you might end up getting stuck in a QR code loop where it asks you to scan a QR code to make a new password for your account, then re-sign in using that new password over and over again. If you do get stuck in this loop, try creating a new user for your PS3 and signing into your account using that new user, and it will still ask you to do the QR code thing, but this time it should work on the first try. Just remember to check the save password and remember me boxes before you log in using that newly generated password for the first time. The last thing I'll mention is when you go to purchase a game on the PS3 store, it might tell you that you have to use a voucher or something to purchase it rather than a credit card. If this happens, what you need to do is go on the PlayStation Store on your phone or PC, go to Payment Management, then click Add Funds. For some reason, it now makes you add funds to your wallet, then purchase games on the PS3 store using that rather than allowing you to purchase the games directly. I have no idea why. Alright, well that should be everything. I just wanted to make this video really quickly so I could get the word out to all of my fellow retro game enthusiasts out there who are looking for an alternative way to play survival horror games that isn't going to cost them a couple $100s. And I know that owning retro game consoles isn't always the cheapest option either, as old consoles and tech in general don't always remain in the best condition even if you do your best to take care of them. So being able to use relatively modern consoles like the PS3 and PSP to gain access to convenient digital copies of these games is a great alternative. So I hope that you guys learned something useful today and maybe found a new way to play a game that you've always wanted to try but had a hard time getting a hold of. As always, thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a good day or night or whatever time it is wherever you are, and I will see you all next time.